Welcome to the Angelscapes podcast, where you're encouraged to uncover and develop a direct connection with your soul's power, wisdom, and spiritual intuition that is ready to blossom. We'll explore new ideas, compelling tips, and real steps to help you learn simple spiritual practices. We're a safe place to learn more about accessing your soul's power with education and spiritual wholeness that could bring more clarity to your life. Now here's your host, a practicing medium, Akashic Records practitioner, spirit artist, coach, and mentor, Dr. Reverend Nancy Smith.
Did your parents ever say, I'm going to count to 5 and then you're going to get it, mister, or you're going to get it, sister? What if you could just count to 5 for peace and calm, instead of building yourself up? This is Angelscapes, and I'm your host, Nancy Smith, and this episode is a 5-step challenge to bring calm and peace back into your life. There are times when it's just too easy to get pushed off of balance. No matter how it happened, let's talk about getting your balance back before you steamroll your way into something you would live to regret later, all with the help of spirit. So maybe you can't settle down because something is upsetting you, unsettling your mind, distracting you. Maybe someone said something or did something that hurt you or brought you back a few steps. Maybe you've been disappointed few too many times, or you feel restless and you feel angry, but something's brought you off balance and it's affecting you, and it's affecting what you're doing. It's affecting your focus, and it's affecting your decisions. Buddhism says that the greatest source of pain is our expectations. Judgments, blame, shame, guilt are all misinformed thoughts that lead to disappointment. And how can you lead a life of thoughtful discernment that leads you to well-being? So I'm going to talk about 5 steps. I'm going to challenge you in this holiday season, now that it's November, December, it's late in the fall, to take this 5-step challenge into everything that you're doing and everything that you're focusing on. And if you're feeling a little bit off balance, let's take a look at these 5 steps that you could apply to yourself and your thoughts and your beliefs to see if you can get yourself back to well-being, get yourself back to peace, the grace. And when we're living in grace and calm and peace, our minds aren't as monkey mind. They're not as racing and trying to reach out and figure stuff out there. They're calm. And when our mind is calm, that alpha part, that creative part of our brain has more time or more opportunity to work and explore and be curious and be creative. And a sense of well-being comes with curiosity and creativity. When we're off balance, we're usually reaching out to get balance, either by holding on to something or by lifting something off of our back or any kinds of things, but we're not on both feet focusing on where we are in the moment. We're not in the moment when we're off balance. So the first step in this journey to calm and peace is to recognize that you are off balance. And many times we miss the whole point that we're off balance, that something's pushing at us and we're unconsciously pushing back, or we're being triggered by something, but we're not going to admit that we're being triggered by something, or any number of those things. So when you have the outer symptoms of, I can't focus on this, you're crabby, or just something doesn't feel right. It's like you're the rhinoceros. Your skin is just not on your body the right way. Take a look at what's bugging you, what's truly bugging you. We can motor on through the days with what we think is a mild annoyance, only to suddenly blow up or implode. So going outward or going inward. And then when it's come to a head, whatever this is, thing that's been annoying you or picking at you, it gets to a point where your life is stopped. And again, I want to talk about you can become distracted, unhappy, and it feels like nothing is right. And these are all symptoms of being out of balance, of not seeing things clearly, or having influences from within you that haven't been addressed. So if you can first decide that there is a problem within you, that's excellent. And now the second step, or step two, is to dig down and discover the real story that's running your life and influencing and distracting you and upsetting you. What the heck is going on? Who are the characters in this story? Where in your life is this thing actually happening? Where else in your life are you distracted because of this thing that you can't quite figure out is happening? It's common to defer or project onto people, places, and things, um, and blame them for why this imbalance is happening to you. And when you do that, you're not going to find the answer. You're not going to bring yourself into balance. You're not going to find the peace and calm because you're still blaming and projecting onto people, places, and things. It's an inside job, actually, when you're off balance, whether you're angry, disappointed, or sad, or any number one of those reaction emotions, and you don't get down to the core emotion, you're going to be chasing your tail. So step two is to dig down and discover what's really, really running your life, what's really bothering you. So when you look at who you think the characters are in your story, it's your job. It's this person over here. It's that family member over on the other corner. You're not really giving yourself a chance to have an honest, open relationship with those things that you're pointing out, and you're causing more strife and turmoil because you're causing drama, or somebody else could be doing the same darn thing too. You're causing drama in your life so that you can avoid looking at what is really going on. And where else is this happening in your life? Where else is it happening in your body? Stress related? Maybe you have a crick in your neck, or constant pain or stomach ache, or a constant indigestion. All these things are signs that you're off balance, and it's time to open the hood and look into the engine of your life. It's common to stay in a place of denial. So go back to step one and admit that you have a problem, and then come back to step two and figure out the real story. Have some self-reflection, and have a conversation with yourself, and include your spirit guides, because I'm talking about a spiritual journey here. And what I'm saying sounds like off balance, crabby, angry, frustrated. It isn't so spiritual, but it is, because you're leading a life that is aside from your spirit, aside from your well-being. And to get back into your well-being and back into your spiritual self, you need spirit, and you need your higher self and your guides, guardian angels, however you work with spirit. And you need to ask for help and guidance to get to the bottom of your imbalance. A lot of times we force ourselves to look a certain way, to see, look, I've got all this going on, I'm fine. And we pretend, which is really good way of pointing your shoes in the direction you want to go in, and then you'll get there. But when you're pretending and acting as if everything's fine, but you're not taking care of what's under the hood of the car, then you'll still be tripping over blocks. You'll still be out of balance. So step two is dig down and find out what's really going on. And then step three is give the monkeys back and leave the circus. And what is yours and what is somebody else's? This is also a pretty important key, to recognize, is this my struggle I'm working with, or is this somebody else's struggle? Like, remember I said you could introduce your drama to somebody else's life to defer your own work on your own inner self. Somebody else could be doing the same darn thing to you so that they don't have to look at themselves. And it's pretty powerful situation when people do that to us. They do it to us all the time, family members, friends, coworkers. And so when you're in this state of agitation, is somebody else's monkey riding on your back? Are you trying to do the three-ring circus that is somebody else's life? Because you're never going to win that. You're never going to be the star of that show because it's not your show. And stepping away from drama that's not yours is very important, because then you can own your own drama and your own struggle and your own monkeys and giraffes and zebras and all that stuff that goes on. And you can train them. You can have a beautiful relationship with your own circus and make it wonderful for yourself, but you're not going to make it a wonderful in somebody else's circus. Hopefully this makes sense. So give the monkeys back, keep your own. And this is about setting boundaries, and set those boundaries in a very loving, compassionate way. We don't want to judge, or remember, judging, blaming, shaming takes you outside of yourself, and it doesn't lead to well-being. It only leads to more drama. So love the problem. What? Love the problem, love the problem. Give it compassion, send it healing, and thank it, actually, with gratitude. Thank it for teaching you that you have something to learn, and that, hey, guess what? I just now realized I'm off balance. I'm not putting one foot in front of the other. I'm kind of tilted. And when you're tilted, I can't live in the present moment. You can't be that creative, expanded person. You're stuck in the mud of something, and then somebody shows you, hey, slap on the face, you're not okay. And so thank that problem as an opportunity to grow, and just surrender to it, love it, respect it, see where you are. And once you're at that place of respecting where you are, you've given away the monkeys, you're standing in your own circus. The next step forward is to own what is yours, and deeply own what is yours, what your expectations are, what your beliefs are. Remember, the Buddhists say that expectations is the road to the biggest pain in your life. So if you have a belief system of how things should work, how life should work, and its life is not living up to your expectations, I would have to say that maybe you have the wrong outlook on life, or maybe the expectations that you have are based on old belief systems that don't quite work anymore. Maybe you're just protecting yourself constantly because you don't want to go into that frustrating struggle of life. So you're making all these rules that if you can't make those rules, then I'm not responsible for my own self or for my own well-being. I can blame others that I'm not okay. So owning what is yours is like getting yourself out of jail. You are starting to let go of attachments. When you own what is yours, heal it, work it, and understand what's motivating you, you can now begin to detach, let go. You can, we call it cutting cords. It's actually a step in forgiveness. We call about letting go of somebody else's ideal of life or what they expect from you. Let it go. Cut the reality of it and come into your own reality. Your blame and your judgments and your beliefs are keeping you attached to something that isn't working for you. And that is a lot of work. And that can cause you to be off balance and angry and frustrated and continuously feeling like you're got the short end of the stick, or you're always the loser, or your luck is always run out. If it weren't for bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. And when you own what's yours and you clean up your thought process, you get a reality check in your life, and you can begin to let go of what you're hoping that you can accomplish through somebody else's, through relationship, through a person, place, or thing. I know I'm talking general, but I think you could take and put these generalities in your life somewhere and kind of look at, well, where am I not feeling good? And do these 5 steps to that and see what you can come up with. And now, step 5 is let go and surrender. Stop what you're doing. When you're in this place of out of balance, just stop, because the path that you're on is taking you to a nowhere path. There's no, as my friend says, there's no cheese down that road. There's nothing that you're striving to be successful. You're striving to achieve something, but it's somebody else's list of failures and success. It's not yours. So stop and cut the ties and the mental Velcro and ask for help again from your higher power. And I'm bringing that in. There is a better way. There's got to be a better way. And just trust and know that there is a better way, even if you don't know what it is right now, and be willing to act on, even if it feels like experimental, to act on higher guidance that you are receiving. And the first higher guidance could be stop. The second higher guidance could be relax. You got this. Let go. Surrender to what's going on and let yourself come to a place where you could be in a creativity. Remember I said when we are relaxed, our alpha brain begins to really create, really look for things that are better for us, that are better in our well-being. But our alpha brain, our happy brain, our successful, creative, really smart brain can't work if we're tied up in knots trying to figure out somebody else's problem or figure out how we're going to fix our reactions. And let's talk a little bit about reactions and emotions. Anger and frustration and our reactions. Disappointment is a reaction to something. And underneath that reaction is a true gut emotion that talks to where you really are in your life. I talk about this in my book, Divine Love Affair and Akashic Journey. I talk about digging down deeper, making like a mind map of where you really are in your life. So you're digging for treasures. If you get to that true emotions, if you get beyond the reactions to how you really truly feel, then you really have a chance to let that emotion give you its message. Emotions are about their energy in motion, and they need to deliver a message, and they need to tell you, here's what this is, and here's what that is, and can you look at this? And then at your true core emotion, it will shift and change as soon as you surrender to it, accept it. When I say surrender to it, I don't mean give in to it. I simply mean, yeah, you're there. I see you're there. I see that anxiety. I see that that disbelief that you have that life can be good. And let's kind of sit with this. And we, again, as we surrender to it and we respect ourselves and love ourselves for our true emotions, that's when the rubber starts hitting the road, when you can begin to find that balance and find that calm and find that peace. Now, if you're wrapped up in the reactions to that emotion because you don't want to feel that emotion, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to find that calm. You're not going to find that peace. Now, I feel like you're listening to me and you're thinking, that's going to take a long time. That's just going to take too long. I can't be in the middle of a crisis and do these 5 steps, but you can. You can. And so we'll simplify it down to a really quick thing. First is to recognize that you're off balance. I'm here again, and I'm buying into something that's not mine, or I'm looking at something upside down, and I need more. I need more information, and I need more relationship with myself, and I need more help from my higher guidance. So step 2 is, so what's really going on here? What am I holding on to? I remember Sesame Street has a song with Bert and Ernie, and I think that it was Bert wanted to play the saxophone, but he couldn't let go of his rubber ducky. And the song was, you got to let go of that rubber ducky if you want to play the saxophone. And it was hilarious. But actually, if you want to put down your insecurities, if you want to just step out and have a new experience in something. So what are you holding on to that's not letting you be happy? What are you holding on to? Maybe it's you haven't set a boundary, and you're believing that if you jump through 1,000 hoops, that everything's going to work out fine. But guess what? Somebody else is holding those hoops. You're not. And so why are you deciding that that doing somebody else's drama is working for you? So step 2 is just dig down. What's the real deal going on here? And ask for help. Step 2 is really about asking for help. I need to look at this differently. And step 3 is, again, let go, give it back. I'm just giving, okay, Mr. Boss, Mrs. Boss, I'm giving this all back to you. I have no clue what you want. However, I know that my job is to do this, this, and this. So be compassionate as you move forward. And then step 4 is simply looking at your own expectations, your beliefs, and what caused you to hook up into this situation that's not for you, that's not bringing you into balance. And then again, let go of the attachment. And this can all happen within seconds of doing that. And then finally surrendering. Just stop what you're doing. Even if you start with step 5, I'm going to stop. What I'm doing now is taking me nowhere. I'm going to stop. I'm going to cut all my ties. I'm going to just get that Velcro out of my mind, and I'm going to sit down and simply receive and look at life a little bit differently. And I do that with my breath, and you can do that with your breath too. Just breathing up in through your nose, that yoga breath, and hold and gently breathe out. And when you're paying attention to your breathing, your body can't help but relax. And as it relaxes deeply, just let your thoughts drop into your heart. Just let your thoughts drop away. Just say, you know what? You're not helping me right now. I need to find something different. And as you go into that relaxed state, then that creative mind can start to work. And you say to the creative mind, and you call, ask your spirit guides or your higher self, your soul, to come and help you too, if that works for you. And you say to your creative mind, your creative self, say, find something different. Just find something different. I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes, 1 minute for each step, and I'm going to come out of this 5 minutes with some kind of a thought or idea or energy or feeling, even if you don't have a thought or idea, of how things could go better, how things could bring me into a place of balance and peace and grace. And that, my friend, is a very important tool for you to use. And it's not just in the November, December, January seasons, it's in all the seasons, all of the times where we interact with family or friends or groups, or even when we just looking in the mirror, interacting with yourself. I know I can be in the house all by myself for hours and still be really crabby. And I look in my mirror, I'm not getting along with you too good today, am I? No, you're not. What's going on? What's triggering you? That kind of thing. So I even have to go through all of the steps just with my own self, the woman in the mirror kind of thing. It's really worth it to find calm and peace in your life. When you are in a calm state, you are more present in the moment. When you are at peace with yourself, you're willing to try to have thoughts, positive thoughts, and you're willing to take an experimental step into something. You're willing to try something new. And when you're in that space, self-judgment, flagellations, self-hurt, and doubt, it's easy to set them aside and to say, what's the deal here? What's the happy place here? And when you are in that happy place, you have more to offer yourself. You have more to offer life. You have more to offer the people that you're in relationship with, all the way from the grocery store person all the way to your closest person in your life. And there's joy there. There's actually bona fide joy there. And then from that joy, you start having fun. You start thinking of ways to really expand your life in a pleasant, happy way. So that's another sign of knowing that you're out of balance, is that nothing's fun and you can't think of anything fun to do. And there's 1,000 reasons why you can't do something that makes you happy, and you're out of balance. When we live a life of out of balance, it's very easy for other people to control us and for other situations to speak to us in a way that squishes us down and makes us feel smaller. It's really easy when we're in an out of balance state to be frightened of the news on the television or on social media or whatever. It's really easy to be confused by somebody else's belief systems because you're not anchored into your own true knowing. Now, we all have a whole bunch of belief systems, and belief is spelled with a big lie inside the middle of it. Everything we believe is a lie sometimes. But when we start to anchor into that flow of peace and calm within us, we're no longer operating with a belief system that could be outdated. We're really working from our authentic self. This is a word that I hear once in a while and go, what's my authentic self? It's your authentic self is a self that really feels the true feelings within you and knows what your favorite color is, and knows what your favorite food is, and knows what makes you happy, and it knows what makes you're not happy. And that's your authentic self. And many times we can get motor on in our lives and decide, oh, I should be happy with this. I should really like this over here. And I really, this is how to live life. And it has nothing to do with who you are inside of yourself. So I'm going to invite you again to find peace and calm through these 5 steps. And that peace and calm takes you closer to your authentic self. It also takes you closer to your spirit. And when you're closer to your spirit, you can feel your soul. You can feel the source. You can feel the creator very close to you. And you can actually open up to that next plane of life, which is the spiritual life, the energetic life. So I'm going to give you the 5-step challenge. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you're doing with this, and if it's working for you. And if you want me to go a little deeper to any of the steps that are going on, let me know. I'll be happy. Just having a fun time looking at who's calling in on Facebook or who's writing in on Facebook. So Susan and Barbara, so good to see you. And Gail, nice to see you. And Elijah and Maria, thank you so much for listening to me and making any comments that you have. Please let me know if this if this 5 steps is something that you could try out. I'm really excited about taking a look at it and breaking peace and calm down into simpler pieces. So I'm going to sign off this episode right now and love to hear from you. But I want to challenge you to do everything you can to live that life of peace and calm so that you can find joy and happiness in your life. And thank you very much. It's great talking to you. We'll meet again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining the Angelscapes podcast. We hope you've gained new insights and inspiration for your journey to uncover and access your soul's power. For more information and a deeper dive into finding clarity in your life, go to angelscapes.net. Remember to subscribe so you can be part of the discussion. It may just change your life. See you next time.